journey it's been for Sam Darnold. After getting drafted 3rd overall in 2018, he lasted 3 seasons with the Jets, going 13-25 as a starter. He's traded to Carolina, going 8-9 as a starter in 2 seasons. He made one-year stops with the 49ers and Vikings. Both teams opted to let him go as a free agent. They could have kept him, they didn't, despite making the Pro Bowl in Minnesota. But in his first season with Seattle, Darnold wins a Lombardi Trophy. Here's an emotional Sam after the win.
Some people called me crazy throughout my career for believing in myself so much and having so much confidence, but it was because of my parents, because of the way that they believed in me throughout my entire career, and it allowed me to go out there and play free and have a ton of confidence.
How's that feel?
It feels amazing. They trying to tear my boy down, but you can't stop what God got for.
What do you think of what Darnold did this postseason? All season, really?
He did everything you wanted him to do. Came in, he led our team. He got a hard position he played, but he's somebody who keep battling, don't let anything sidetrack him. That's Sammy D for you. And now my dog, the Super Bowl winner. I'll see you, Sammy.
Okay, that may be my favorite quote from yesterday. I see you, Sammy. Peter, what do you make of the journey of Darnold, how he got to this point? I think in any walk of life, you see his story, and you have to be encouraged. You can kind of go from anywhere and reach incredible success.
It's a great story, and we know the resume, and we've done it for 2 weeks on this show, breaking down his path. I think what's really interesting is his approach to the story. When 4 different teams tell you, no, we're going to go a different direction and you're just not the guy, to go to the 5th team and not have resentment for the rest of those stops, to not be externally displeased or say I have a chip on a shoulder, that is something very unique, especially for the modern day quarterback. We've heard these stories before, and Baker Mayfield comes to mind, where he has a resentment, and that he uses that as motivation. Darnold might, but it is deep, deep down there. He never gives off that. In fact, he says he needed those stops to get to where he is today. And I'll add this as well. He led the league in turnovers this season. He had 20 total turnovers, the most in the entire NFL. In the playoffs, he had 0. So when they needed him most to play his best, he performed at his best, and he did not turn the ball over. Furthermore, if you want to say, yeah, but he was a passenger on this ride, no, he wasn't. Go watch that NFC Championship game. He led them past the best offense in the league in the Rams. He has nothing to be shameful for, and Sam Darnold is an amazing story, all-encompassing.
Yeah, amnesia is the word that comes to mind. I think all great athletes have them. I think all have it. I think all great quarterbacks do. Peter, you talk about the turnovers in the regular season and the story of the start of his career. And then if you watch the game yesterday, it wasn't easy. That defense in New England played fantastic. But I do think the right choices and the right type of throws were big. This is the first ball out of his hand all game. Marcus Jones breaks on. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a pick 6. And immediately I said, well, if he was nervous, he's not showing it. And then you go to the next throw. This is Cooper Kupp on the deep crosser. Once again, the ball's perfect. That's a dangerous throw. It's a courageous throw. You have to put the ball in harm's way. And while they were tested, I thought once again the decision-making showed up. Staring at the bottom of the screen for the stick route, it's not there. Reset Milton Williams, the highest or second highest paid defensive tackle in football. Nope, make you miss. And the ball comes out for a 3rd down conversion. I think that was the most impressive thing watching Sam Darnold last night. We talked about it in the NFC Championship game. But the nail in the coffin, the decision-making off the play-action fake, he knows it's there. One of the hardest throws sometimes for quarterbacks to make is when guys are wide open. This is a ball that is perfectly thrown. This is the same type of throw that we saw early on in the game when I was referencing the undercut. And so for Sam Darnold, the ability to make the right throw and the right choice, he was tested yesterday. It was not nearly as easy on some of those throws as it was in the NFC Championship game. He did the one thing he had to do. Don't give the ball to the other team. And there's value in that, and he's a Super Bowl champion because of it.
For Sam Darnold, it's more about the get back than the fall off to me. Many people want to talk about what he was, but let's talk about what he is. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a quarterback that the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl because of, not in spite of. And when Dan talks about amnesia, it brings this to mind. he never spoke about where he came from. He spoke about those who supported him. He spoke about his parents always believing in him and why he believed in self. Even when you think about the turnovers from early on this year, if you begin to have paralysis by analysis, you don't make that throw to Barner against Marcus
100%.
Jones. You don't make that throw to Cooper Kupp against Marcus Jones across the field. You don't put the ball in harm's way to go make a play and be aggressive. And so Sam Darnold truly is a testament to believing in yourself. And it's not necessarily about a chip on your shoulder, but it's about understanding that everything in my life, everything in my career led me to that moment. And you saw that gratitude.
I know he's going to come on set. I want to ask him that. Like, how did that become a calling card of yours? Like, what was the teachings from your parents, youth sports, high school, college, that built up this just resilient mentality?
I would just say quickly, Alex Smith told me he doesn't break. So I want you guys to ask that. I want to see some, but you might not get it.
I'm going to get him to try.
He's told us a lot. His parents have meant the world to him. You mentioned it. His dad a plumber, his mom a PE teacher. He said anything that his parents dealt with in their lives, they came home, they were still the same. That resiliency comes from them. Hey, Drake Maye was pressured on more than a third of his dropbacks in the Super Bowl, struggled when he faced pressure. He had as many turnovers, 3 as completions when pressured. He was sacked 6 times. Here's Mike Vrabel and an emotional Maye after the game.
Yeah, you're at the highest stage, the highest level, so it's hard to kind of, put it that in comparison to others. I think it's a business at this level, but it's more than that. It's more than that. In a game like this, and I think that's about it. It's more than a business. There's people in there that are doing it, not for the money or the fame, and that's what's cool about this team.
I'm proud of everything that they did. I'm disappointed, just like they are. I reminded them that we're 307 days into what hopefully is a long, successful relationship and program, and that it's okay to be disappointed. We have to be disappointed and upset together. And like I always do, I tell them I'm appreciative of them. I'm thankful. I'm grateful that I get to coach them.
And what you heard from Drake Maye just tells you who he is as a human. It's a gut punch to listen to, no matter who you were rooting for.
Yeah, but New England's going to be fine.
They're going to be just fine, right?
Kid, they'll be fine.
As we look back to last night, though, RC, what went wrong for the Patriots?
Well, narratives don't win games. Players and coaches do. And we knew the last 2 weeks that they had an offensive line problem, specifically a left tackle problem. It seemed like Seattle knew that, but the New England Patriots didn't. It didn't seem like Josh McDaniels had an answer, whether it was 6 offensive linemen, whether it was keeping a tight end tight to chip, using the running back as well, having a release valve in the pass game. They didn't have any of those things. You knew you had an issue to create chunk plays. So there's no Travion Henderson you're using. You're not getting shots to Kayshon Boutte. And so I feel like over those 2 weeks, as these two teams prepared for this game, there was the Seattle Seahawks who understood the negatives and the deficits on the offense of the New England Patriots, and the Seattle Seahawks who prepared that way, and not the New England Patriots and Josh McDaniels. And when you saw in the middle of that game that there was no adjustment, Julian Love said it. We knew very early on that we had them, and that was based on roster, but also the X's and O's being in their favor.
Yeah, it was a season of highs, but yesterday was an all-time low for that squad, and they're going to have to get up from that. Now, RC, great point on the offensive line. Just from the stats standpoint, 21 sacks they gave up this postseason, the most ever by a team. 6 last night. And Next Gen Stats attributed 14 quarterback pressures allowed to one player last night, Will Campbell. That's tough for a first round. That's tough for a first round pick, let alone a top 5 pick. Yeah. I will add this: you look at this team, and they're so young, and we're saying they're going to be back. It's going to be okay. History does not remember the losers in this sport.
They do not.
We do not. We talk about 60 years of Super Bowls. We talk about the champions. We don't talk about the runners-up. It is so hard to get back here.
Sure.
And I look at this team. Will Campbell's a rookie. Drake Maye's a second-year guy. They had more rookies on this roster than any team that's ever played in a Super Bowl. And yet, the AFC, Laura, you got Mahomes waiting, you got Josh Allen waiting, you got Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. You want to go down with Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow. I wonder if they feel like this was the one that got away. I know it's early, and I know they exceeded expectations. History does not remember the losers, and for Drake Maye, Dan, before this game, the week of, you said Drake Maye has to play the best game of his career. I think he played his worst game of the season.
Yeah, that's fair. New England didn't belong on the same field as Seattle. That's just the truth. There was nothing. They could have played with 13 and not done anything. The amount of negative plays, they had to be perfect. Their margin for error was nothing. First and second down, look at this. They had 19 snaps on just first and second down that went for no or negative yardage. So for an offense that could not be in an obvious passing situation because, RC, to your point, that offensive line, they had no shot. And I do want to give credit to Seattle a little bit. We're talking about their pass rush. I thought some of the run stunts they executed were fantastic as well. Some of the defensive line movement in RC with like a Drake Thomas scraping over the top. That was a big deal.
The one Drake Thomas shoots the gap, and then now you finish with Ernest Jones, and they were able to play a lot of these runs from two safeties, right? Two high safeties, and when you can do that, and you don't have to break tendency, and now you get them in third and medium to long, that was when the pressure took over.
I don't know. It's like, well, what went wrong? Who can we figure out and point the finger to? I just think the reality is this. Seattle was right where they were supposed to be. New England wasn't. They're not there yet. It doesn't discount the magical run and the accomplishment. Talent-wise, they're not even close.
You told us on Friday, you spoke to somebody that said they thought that this could be the outcome because they played Seattle.
Well, somebody who knows it pretty well.
Yeah, someone who, yes, exactly. And he was like, they have no idea how good that defense is until you play against it. And they experienced it last night. They were just a better unit.
One quick thing to your point about how difficult it is to get back. This is not a name drop, but I was talking to Steve Young about this the other day. And he was like, all we ever remember is the ones that we lost. He said we should have had 16 Super Bowls. And somehow we didn't win those games. And even talking about Dan Marino, early on, gets there, doesn't get back.